Welcome to the speed build. It is another Saturday. Just last week, I was telling someone that my uploading day was technically still Friday, but I just put way too much on my plate this week, and I knew it. Like, I absolutely knew that I was gonna do something like this. I had planned to do a very small build. I have been talking about how I didn't have time to do very big builds, and how I wasn't gonna have that time soon, as I'm really busy with life right now. And I talked about that in my last speed build, and you all were so kind and sweet and lovely and made me feel really good about it and took a lot of the pressure off. And one person commented that they would rather, like, they'd be excited about whatever I posted, no matter the size. And that made me realize that I've been going about this whole topic kind of the wrong way, because my initial reaction was to think that if I couldn't do like a proper build, I should just not upload that week, which was kind of how I was going to handle that. And I've realized that if I have the mental capacity, that I could absolutely just do a tiny build. And like, I just realized that I love to see whatever my favorite creators do. And if I got to choose, I'd always choose to get something small instead of nothing at all. So that gave me some perspective, I guess. So I was planning, because I knew I wouldn't have any time this week, basically. So I was planning a room build, and I got really excited about that idea. And I've been wanting to build the Orangery from Castle Ashby Gardens, for quite some time. And I thought this would be the best opportunity for like a really detailed, interesting, kind of special room build, because I thought that I probably couldn't attach this to any like regular build I was doing, because it'd be too big, and the whole build would have to be a very certain aesthetic to go with this, and it shouldn't take away from an actual build, and I didn't want to make this whole thing a residential. So I thought a room build would be the perfect solution. And then I thought about it some more and I did some research, and I realized that there would probably, like, you would have to do that exterior yourself then. Like, you wouldn't ever be able to use this just the way it was, because where would you put it? In an apartment? Surely not. On just some random lot somewhere. Like, it just didn't make too much sense usability wise. And I decided I would just do it as a whole build, like this area, this kind of treated like a greenhouse or something that you could plop down somewhere, but without any landscaping surrounding it, like not a whole lot, just this build, like this building and nothing else, so you could put it somewhere basically. And then I did even more thinking and I realized that that also wouldn't make any sense and still wouldn't solve the like usability problem at all, because what would you have to build around it? Like, where would this go? Where would you put it? It'd be way too big for anything. And technically, for it to make sense, you would have to build a whole castle for it, and then there's just no lot big enough for that. And also, is that even still any type of service if you had to do that to even use this? So I stumbled across the official Castle Ashby Gardens homepage, which is very cute, by the way. I actually might get back to that for some additional information for voiceover to read to you. And I saw a picture, it's just on the front page, there's a picture of the garden surrounding the orangery. And I thought to myself, and I know this is an exceptional amount of thinking for me that I've been talking about so far, and maybe that's actually the problem. But yeah, I thought to myself, why not, just do it. It can't, it's not so bad. Just do it. It's just gardens, building takes way more time than landscaping, and it'll be really meditative to do that really nice striped lawn, and there's not so many plants, which is what usually takes the time during the landscaping. And this time there's lots of empty area and then just a few topiaries and it'll be fine. And I picked a 64 by 64 lot because that's when I actually stopped doing all the thinking. But I knew I would need all that space to make this look as grand as it's supposed to look. And then I've just been doing night shifts basically and working on this all week. And that's the story on why it's Saturday. But now you've already seen me do some of the landscaping, and by that I mean the terrain painting, which was terrible. I don't know why it took me forever, and I did it late at night and I couldn't take it. Like I was so done. I was so done. And I did cut most of it out, but you might have noticed that at first, for some reason, like it must have been the time of day and I just probably couldn't focus. And I did both stripes individually. Like, how terrible the terrain paint brushes are in general? Like they get really messy even if you've set them to the hardest setting. It's still really messy and really annoying to try and be precise with this type of terrain paint job. And I did not just color all of the grass one type of terrain paint and then do the stripes for the second option. No, I don't know, I couldn't think. I did both stripe colors one after the other for every single stripe. And after about, I don't know, I was halfway done probably, I realized that I could just paint the whole ground one color and do every second stripe, basically. So I did that for about 10 more minutes, being super annoyed by that already. And then I looked at it from afar, like I like to zoom out and look at things, and the more tired I am, the more I'll zoom around, which gets really annoying when it's sped up, so I try to cut that out as well. But yeah, I zoomed out and I realized that those were just not at all the colors that I wanted for this lawn. It looked too, too burnt, kind of, too warm, too dull at the same time. I wanted this to look too good to be true. I wanted this to look ridiculous, like lawn that you couldn't grow, lawn that you could only buy if you were super rich, like chemically engineered lawn. One time when I was like 15, I went to the Spanish embassy and they had the most insane lawn. It was so crazy. Like 15-year-old me stood there, jaw dropped. I remember taking a photo of it and sending it to my mom and being like, have you ever seen grass this green? This can't be real. I promise that's a true story. I still have that photo somewhere on some hard drive, probably. So this is what I wanted this lawn to look like. I wanted it to be just straight up ridiculous. So I did it all again. I got so far to lose it all. Yeah, so I redid it, and that time I used the proper technique from the beginning, but it still took me forever, and I was mad and I went to bed, which is actually a very helpful and severely underrated bug fix, is going to bed. Just that. And sometimes I have to remind myself that that is an option. But in case you've never been to Castle Ashby, just as I haven't, I will tell you a little bit about this actual real life place. Castle Ashby Gardens in the United Kingdom somewhere. Oh no, this is awkward. I don't know where it's actually located. Contact us. Maybe that's where... Northampton, that's where it's at. And it is the ancestral home of the 7th Marquess of Northampton. Oh, I could have read that. It just says it right there. So you can actually visit these gardens, which is very cool, and I would love to go there because it looks absolutely fantastic, like straight from a fairy tale. Love it if you are close to that place. I envy you. It is a 10,000 acre estate. I'm reading this from castleashbygardens.co.uk, by the way. The 35 acres of extensive gardens are a combination of several styles, including the romantic Italian gardens, the unique Orangery, and impressive Arboretum. The full Castle Ashby experience also involves a menagerie, children's play area, plant center, tea room, and gift shop. I've only built the Orangery. I do hope you will forgive me for that. And I wanted to make this usable in some way. And I was looking at this for quite some time and trying to figure out what I could do with this place. Because as I said, I didn't think it would make any sense for this to be a residential. I really wanted that very rich, lush, overgrown tropical plant interior greenhouse vibe. And I just wouldn't have been able to combine that with a residential place of this size. So I opted for a commercial solution because I still get a lot of comments that you guys would like to see more commercial/community lots. And I have never done a bar/lounge in The Sims, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for this place to still be really useful to your gameplay and for you to just be able to plop this down somewhere. This is the 64 by 64 in Brinton Bay, by the way, where I've built this, which is awesome because it has beautiful ocean views and feels very exclusive and expensive, which is exactly what I wanted for this. So at first I made this a bar. I'm not sure what really comes with that venue type. Like, I don't do gameplay personally, and I wasn't sure if a bar or a lounge was what I really wanted for this place. So I made it so you could use this as either a bar or a lounge. So it does fulfill all the requirements for either venue type. I am uploading this as a lounge because I think that's probably the more appropriate option for what I imagined for this place. I wasn't too sure about the connotations of the words, but the bar requires you to put in a TV, which is definitely not what I was going for at all. But yeah, I still left that as an option. So there's a television in the bathroom. not in the bathroom, in the, I guess, the waiting room for the bathroom. I don't know, do those types of rooms have a specific name? You know, when you go somewhere very high class, you never enter the room that actually has the toilet through just one door. Like, you always have to go through at least 2 doors to reach the actual toilet. That's what I'm talking about. So all in all, this is supposed to be a very exclusive place to go for rich people, let's be honest. for rich people to go to in the evenings and enjoy their summer nights. I'm thinking maybe you can only visit this place if you have an invitation, or maybe you have to be member of a club, some like Soho House type situation. So you have to spend money, so you're allowed to spend even more money on this establishment. That's the kind of vibe I was going for this to be very exclusive. And it's the last thing I'm doing in this speed build, so you might miss it, which is why I'm saying it now. But I do put in a microphone and a piano outside in that very special, even more exclusive area behind the building. So maybe that's the VIP area in this already exclusive place. So there's live music there, and that is actually what I kind of spun my video tour story around. I'm sure that by now I've made so many different video tours for very different places with my playtesting sim, and sometimes as a special guest, her girlfriend, whoops, her wife. Sorry, their wedding was one of the video tours, but if you were so inclined and had a lot of time on your hands, then you could pick the video tours apart and stitch them back together to tell some actual story. I'm sure you could by now. I always try and make them do some cute little thing, and it's so hard. I know you've been hearing me complain about this enough, but it's so hard to get them to do anything, and it's even harder on lots that aren't commercial, like doing video tours for this type of venue is making me go insane. Like when I finally get my sim, first I have to get my sim to do what I want. Then I have to get her wife to do what I want, which is 1,000 times harder. And then there's always some random sim in the background doing the weirdest fucking thing, wearing the weirdest outfit as well, and ruining my shot. And actually one of my patrons was so nice and offered me help in getting the Sims to do what I want for the video tours, but I always do them so last minute, and I get so annoyed so quickly with them that I've never dared to actually ask for help. But this time they were supposed to go on a cute date in this bar, you know, the type where you drink very expensive cocktails and listen to jazz. And usually I get very annoyed by how few townies actually show up on your commercial lots, because it tends to look really empty and weird and not have that beautiful communal crowded feeling. But for this lot, it was perfect, like especially with the townies splitting up over this entire 64 by 64 lot. I knew it was gonna give that grand feeling from this being so big but like kind of empty. So that was perfect in itself. And it worked out fine. I had them sit down. I did not have them get a cocktail because for some reason I could only order like typical cafe items, non-alcoholic beverages like milk or something, coffee. I don't know. Is that a lounge thing? Not sure. I hope you can change that. I know nothing about this game. But I had them sit down on one of these tables inside. The tropical plants looked gorgeous. Everything was fine. They looked like they were having a great talk, you know. And then this random old guy in an entirely blue outfit with all the patterns you can imagine. Every single pattern that there is in the world were somewhere to be found on his clothes, and they were blue. And he was wearing huge over-ear headphones, and he just sat down on their table with them. It did look funny, like in this type of absurd, ridiculous way, but that's not what I wanted. wasn't going for funny, I was going for romantic. So I scratched that shot. And I remembered that I've actually been wanting to use a song with vocals for the video tour for quite some time. Not a specific song, I just wanted to use something with vocals. And this was a great opportunity. So the story of the video tour is that my playtesting sim and her wife are on a date in this place. It's a calm night, there's a light breeze, you can hear the ocean in the background, and the graceful Brindleton Bay seagulls are circling far above the lounge. And my sim sits down on the piano outside and serenades her wife. So that's the song that's playing in the background. And if you watch till the very last shot, then you will actually see her serenading her. I do hope that actually comes across. I'm really not an expert in cutting, not in the slightest. I know nothing about it. I try and do what feels right and looks good, and sometimes I'm more successful than other times, and I'm not musical at all. Like, I love music as much as the next guy, but I don't have a deep connection to it, I don't think. I used to play the guitar when I was a child, and I think that was just a nightmare for everybody involved. So I stopped pretty quickly. And I don't know if you remember, like 10 years ago, there were musical talent shows all over the TV, like you really couldn't escape them. And I remember my mom making fun of me when we were watching them together because sometimes they would show the especially bad candidates, which is a horrible practice, by the way. They just do that to be mean. But yeah, I would never notice anything sounding off. Like, I don't have that type of ear, apparently. So it was really hard for me to cut this video tour. Like, it's hard every time because I hope you know that I'm trying to cut to the beat. Like, that'd be really awkward if you were listening to this and be like, oh, that's what she's trying to do. Oh, this is supposed to be the beat. But yeah, that's what I usually try and do, but it's really hard for me to find that moment. The other day, my friend came in while I was trying to cut the video tour, like while I was at the part of trying to cut the specific shots to the beat. And he was very amused to find me sitting there making movements like I was a conductor, like not the train type, the orchestra type, because that's how I usually try and find the right moment to cut. Like, I sit there and I wiggle my finger around until I start to feel my arm trying to make a big movement, you know? That's when I know that that's the right moment to cut. This is very embarrassing. I don't know why I'm making this public, but it works. And I just want to say that I don't think I'm a bad dancer per se. This is not gonna sound very believable, but I actually think that that's why this conducting thing works, because I can like feel it in my body. I just can't hear it. Oh boy, that's such an embarrassing thing to say. But yeah, this video tour was especially hard to cut because I chose traditional jazz, which I do still think was a smart choice. It sounds beautiful. It's a gorgeous song. The singer has a beautiful voice, and I'm so glad I chose it. But you know, jazz makes it even harder. They try to hide the beats from you, and sometimes it's just one instrument in the background that gives you little hints about what's actually happening with the beat. And I really hope you feel the same way about jazz, and that this does not sound incredibly uncultured and weird. So this is the VIP area that is gonna have the piano and microphone. And if you want to use this as a bar and you don't like the live music aspect, then you can just put it back to this setup that I'm doing right now, because I am actually deleting 2 of those sunbeds, the ones that I'm putting in right now, and putting the piano and microphone there instead. And I do think that gave it that perfect, intimate feeling. And I loved imagining that you could just lie down in one of those sunbeds in the evening sun and listen to the piano and the ocean at the same time. And maybe someone laughing and chatting in the background and some cocktail glasses clinking. So I hope you find some use for this. Take your Sims out on a date. And if you want to download this, you can do that from the gallery at honeybellabuilds, or you can use the tray files that you'll find in the download link in the description, which is also where you'll find all the CC that I've used. As always, it's Felix and Harry. I really hope you enjoyed this build. Thank you so much for spending almost half an hour of your day with me. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and yeah, just being here with me and being so kind. I really appreciate it. And if you want, we could do this again next week. Same place, same time. Actually, on Friday, hopefully. But see you then. Bye-bye.
Dancing in slow motion, blurry eyes. But I've had enough, it's time to say goodbye. 3 a.m. as I'm walking home with a smile. Sometimes I picture how life had been in Paris or New York or Shanghai. But you know what they say, east or west, our home is best. Warming rays, golden sunlight as the city wakes. Oh, my love for you will never fade away. 5 a.m. as I sing, oh, Stockholm love. And sometimes I picture how life had been in Paris or New York or Shanghai. But you know what they say, east or west, our home is best. Warming rays, golden sunlight as the city wakes. Oh, my love for you will never fade away. 5 a.m. as I sing, oh, Stockholm love.